The idea of childhood did not exist until a couple of 100 years ago, is what you write, that kids were expected to work the moment they could get their hands around objects. And tell us more about it.
Well, I mean, I reserve slightly from the very strong version of that position, which was famously stated by the French historian Philippe Ariès, medieval historian, who said, essentially, childhood did not exist before the early modern period. You know, I think that's too strong a statement. It's plain that children had toys and children behaved in childish ways and have done ever since the dawn of time, and that their parents treated them differently than they treated adults. But I think it's true that for various reasons, some of them economic and developmental, for a lot of human history, childhood was essentially quite a truncated little stage where we went, you know, the important thing is to get them through this quickly. And as soon as they are capable of working or fending for themselves or moving on to adult life, they need to. And it's only when you start to get, the idea that education rather than work is what needs to happen between late infancy and early adolescence. You know, I mean, for a lot of human history, childhood was a luxury we couldn't afford. You know, if you were a peasant, the moment you were old enough to toddle, you'd be looking after your younger siblings while your parents worked, or you'd be in the fields digging and hoeing, or you'd be, you know, in a cotton mill or up a chimney. Or if you're an aristocrat, you know, you'd be, 11, and you'd be married off to the Infanta of Castile to cement some sort of dynastic alliance. You know, the idea that childhood would be it only comes in the Enlightenment, really. People start to think of childhood as this period that's precious in itself, and that has its own proclivities and opportunities and possibilities. And you start to get, with people like John Locke and Jean-Jacques Rousseau, a kind of association of childhood with innocence, with nature, and with play. And that's seen not as a kind of regrettable, why are children always playing when they should be praying or working, but a sudden kind of idea that this is something that's great and that's precious and that we should enjoy, and that, what's more, we should look back to with some regret as adults and hope to recapture, I mean, I don't think for most of human history people were keen to get in touch with their inner child.